What's up, y'all? Brandon with BC Talks here. It's football season, so I'm repping my team. I was born and mostly raised in Connecticut, so I am a Patriots fan. We didn't win our last preseason game, but Malik Cunningham's going to be the next Lamar Jackson, so it doesn't matter. We won in my book.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But that's not what y'all came here for. Y'all came here for a comic book haul because that's what we do on this channel. We talk about comics. So, if you remember a few weeks back, I posted a video about a haul of Captain Marvel keys that I got from a local antique shop. Well, I went back to the antique shop, the same one I got the Captain Marvel keys from in that video from before, and I picked up a ton of books. So, we're going to go through those in today's video. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to thank y'all because the channel hit over 100 subscribers. That's right. Thank y'all for subscribing, for liking the videos, for commenting, for sharing. I love talking with comics and pop culture with y'all. And it was April 11th when I posted my very first video, which was on Star Wars Celebration. It was the day after Star Wars Celebration, was a little recap. And so it's been 5 months since then, and we hit 100 subscribers. I didn't think very many people were going to watch this, or be interested, but we've had, a lot of people engaging, and I love talking in the comments with y'all about comics and pop culture. So make sure you subscribe. It's too late to say you were one of the first 100 subscribers, but when we blow up, you can say you were one of the first 500 if you go down and subscribe. And also, I wanted to update y'all on the fact that I am now a verified seller on Whatnot. Now, if you're in the comic book collecting hobby, then you probably know what Whatnot is. If you don't know what Whatnot is, it is an app. They also have a website, of course, where you can buy collectibles. A lot of people buy Pokemon cards are really big on there, sports cards, toys, vintage collectibles, and of course, comic books, which is where I buy a lot of my comic books, and a lot of people in the hobby they go on Whatnot to buy comic books as well. It's pretty much Whatnot and eBay, and then of course local comic book shops is where people get the bulk of their comics from in the comic book collecting hobby. If you're new to it, so make sure you go down to the link in the description. You'll get a certain percentage off of your first purchase on Whatnot if you use my link. All right, we got a lot of books to go over in this haul, so let's get started. Also, side note, I'm going to be sweating. It's very hot, so I'm going to be glistening like a comic in a Mylar bag throughout this video because it is hot. Y'all know it's hot. It's hot everywhere in the US. But yeah, I'm going to be sweating, so I apologize in advance for that if I'm wiping my face. But the first books that I'm going to go over is, let me get these so they're not casting a shadow, is these Silver and Bronze Age romance books. Now, I picked a few of these up in the Captain Marvel Keys Haul video. I don't remember if I went over them or not, but I was reading through them, and they're really funny. They're like soap operas. There's a lot of drama, a lot of tea in them, and they're really funny to me. And how I collect, I kind of like meme funny things. You'll see in the haul in the later in the haul, but yeah. So they're really funny to me. I kind of want to do a series on them, where I read an issue. I might call it like Thirsty Thursdays or Tuesday Tea or something like that. But yeah, they're really funny, and I'm probably gonna do a series where I read them on a video. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Okay, now let's get into the good stuff. First up, you've seen it sitting over here. I got this Silver Surfer book. It's not a key, but it is, again, like I said before, I like to collect books that are funny to me, and this is Silver Surfer number 45. It is try to get it so the thing's not shining. I'm gonna have to turn that down. But Silver Surfer 45, it is not a key, like I said. It's from the second Silver Surfer series from 1987, but it's a funny cover with Mephisto and Thanos. And it's just like so memey. Like look at Thanos' face there. And this is The Boys Are Back. And it was really funny. It was like $4. So not that bad of a price. And it presents well. It's a newsstand. So just a funny little book there, even though it's not a key. It's gonna go in my meme collection. I have a like a collection of books that are funny or kind of meme like. All right, next up we have the first issue of Secret Invasion. That is Secret Invasion #1. This is another one. This one was like 475 or something. This is the first issue of Secret Invasion, which, as you may know, was recently adapted into a Disney Plus series. That's the show with Nick Fury that just finished. Now, the show, in a previous video, I said y'all should be watching it, but the first couple episodes of the show, they were amazing. But then it just declined and declined from there until the last episode, which was just not good. But and also the show is nothing like the comic. If you've read Secret Invasion or you know anything about Secret Invasion, should I get that on the light? If you've read Secret Invasion or know anything about Secret Invasion, the comic is way different than the show. They kind of had to readapt it to fit kind of the through line that they're doing in the MCU. Although, the through line isn't really that evident. It's supposed to be leading into the Marvels, so I guess we'll see. Maybe we'll get some more enlightenment on what's going on in the Marvels. But yeah, that's Secret Invasion #1. Um, it's I bought it because of the show, but the show got worse as it was going on. So, the value of this might go down. I got it for like $4, $5, so not too bad of a pickup. But don't go out spending double digits for this if you see it out there, because the value is probably gonna go down after the quality of the show, unfortunately. Next up, we have Simpsons Comics and Stories #1. This one was $3.75, $4. This is the first appearance of the Simpsons in comic books, and it was also polybagged with a poster, which the poster is still in there with the polybag. So it was interesting. You don't see this one a lot out in the wild. Um, you know, out in, shops or antique malls a lot. So when I saw it, it was really interesting, and it was also still in the poly bag, sealed with the poster. So I was like, man, that's pretty cool. Um, and it's a really good looking copy, presents well. It's got Bart there on the cover, who is Bart Man. You can see there on the bottom. Um, so it's really funny. I've never read it. I didn't want to, open it up because it's sealed in the poly bag. But maybe one day if I come up on one that's not in the poly bag, I'll read it because it does seem interesting. But I don't think I'm gonna keep this for the PC. This is probably gonna be one that's gonna go on sale. So make sure you check out my whatnot profile, because I'll probably put that in the marketplace or run it in an auction coming up whenever I do my first auction. So keep your eyes out for that one. Simpsons Comics and Stories #1. Next up, we got a bunch of Uncanny X-Men. I've been collecting the Chris Claremont run of Uncanny X-Men, which is up to number 280, I believe. So, those later ones are easier to find, but the early ones are harder. And I'm just, filling out the run right now. So a lot of them are not really keys. They're just more like a run filler. So we're gonna go through those. The first one is 165. This one is not a key against a run filler, a little newsstand though. So interesting book there. The next one is 187. That's a really weird cover. Look at that. It's like I don't know what he's doing. He's sucking her head in. What's going on there? But hey yo. The next one is 204. I like this cover a lot. Um it's got Nightcrawler, and I didn't read the book, but I looked. I guess it's just a random woman that he's saving. I guess it's not an X-Men character, if I am not mistaken. But it's a really cool cover. I like this cover. So again, not a key, but a cool Nightcrawler cover and a run filler. The next one's 206, which I actually already own. I got it on by mistake, but I am probably gonna start Uncanny X-Men. Everybody loves Uncanny X-Men. This is 206. Again, not a key, and I already have one, but I switched it out. Um, I'm gonna keep the lesser quality copy, since it's just run filler. Um, and I will sell this one on Whatnot on an auction. So keep an eye out for that if you're looking for some Uncanny X-Men. I recently picked up a bunch of Uncanny X-Men to run on Whatnot as well. So a lot of people like Uncanny X-Men. I like X-Men, and they're gonna come to the MCU soon. So if you're looking to fill out your run, check me out on Whatnot. The next one's 217. Again, another run filler. That one is not a key. Then we got 218. Again, another run filler, not a key. Next one we have is 226, which is not a key as well. Just another run filler. That's an interesting cover as well. Look at that. They're getting, I don't know, they're like, they're getting shocked. The next one is 250, which is another Ayo cover. This one is not a key as well. Oh no, wait, no, this one is a key. This one is the first appearance of Worm, who is a savage land inhabitant. So a little minor key in the Uncanny X-Men run there. This is another one I have already, 252. So that one's gonna go on sale on Whatnot. Pretty cool looking cover there. I like the covers where they do stuff to the X-Men logo on the top, like when they blow through it with a laser. Those are cool ones where they break it. This one they got it lit on fire. So that's a cool cover. If you're looking for that one, check me out on Whatnot. This one is 254. That one's not a key, but it's a very colorful cover. It's got them all in the classic blue and yellow. So yeah, really, really vibrant cover there. And the last one I got is 255, which is another minor key. This one is the first appearance of Matsuo Suriyaba, who's a Japanese crime lord. So a little minor key there, and a run filler. Because again, I'm collecting the Chris Claremont run of Uncanny X-Men, which goes up to number 280. So a lot of run fillers for Uncanny X-Men, and a few that I'm going to be running on my Whatnot here coming up soon. I don't know what day I'm going to do my first show, but it'll probably be within the next couple of weeks if I had to guess. So if you're looking for some Uncanny X-Men, I got a bunch more. Um, and the X-Men's coming up, so make sure you fill out your run before it comes out in the MCU. Those books are going to be going up and up if it's good. Secret Invasion was not good, so that book is going down. But I have a feeling they're going to do good with the X-Men and the MCU, but we'll see. But either way, get it now before it doubles in price. All right, this one's an interesting one. It is from the second series of What If. It's What If number 33. This is What If the Phoenix Rose Again. And what's interesting about this, other than the cover with the Sentinel there, um, you know, gripping on Wolverine at the top, and then Jean Grey blasting through there. It's a really cool cover. But what's interesting about this book is that it is the first cameo appearance of Omega Red, who is he's basically like a psychopath mutant. He kind of went through the Russian equivalent of the Weapon X program. What Wolverine went through. He has like a knockoff version of adamantium, like a Russian version called carbonadium, I think it's called. And he has the ability to drain the life force from or the life energy from other people. So yeah, he's a pretty wild character, a pretty interesting character, Omega Red, in the X-Men lore. And so this is his first cameo appearance, and this one was like $3. So I saw it, I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool one. I had to pick that up because I would imagine eventually they're gonna do Omega Red. He's an interesting foil to Wolverine. He's kind of like a bad version of Jean Grey and Wolverine mixed together, which is interesting because they're both on the cover there. Um, so yeah, that's an interesting book, and a little spec as well. Next up, we've got a set here. It is the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine. It was a 6-issue limited series, and I now have all of the issues except for number one. And this was two. 3. Yeah, it's an interesting cover there, and 4. Um, Now, none of these are keys. The keys, I think, are number 1, and then the last one, number 6, if I recall correctly. Um, so these are not keys, but it was just like a little run filler. And when I get them all, I will probably bundle it up and maybe sell it after I read it. I want to get all the issues before I read it, and I don't have number 1, so I don't want to read it out of order. So when I find number 1, I'll read it and then I'll probably bundle it up and sell it. So, an interesting little set there. Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, 2, 3, and 4. Next up is another one that I am going to sell on Whatnot as well. This is from the 2007 series of Thor. It is Thor number 5. It is a J. Scott Campbell variant. J. Scott Campbell, the pretty popular artist. This is the first appearance of Loki as a female. He was reborn into Sif's body in this issue. So it's the first time Loki was a girl, which, as you know, female Loki was in the Loki TV show or the Disney Plus series. And the J. Scott Campbell variant actually goes for a decent amount. Um, but I'll sell it for a good price, lower than FMV, for you guys. So if you're interested in that issue, check me out on Whatnot. I'll have that on there. That's Thor number 5, the J. Scott Campbell variant. Next up, we got a bunch of Detective Comics and Batman issues, and these are all keys. They're minor keys, but I like to collect the keys of Batman and Detective Comics because Batman's an awesome character. He's one of my favorites. He's one of everybody's favorites, obviously. So I like to collect the keys for Batman and Detective Comics when I see them. This one, first one is Batman 489. This is an interesting one. It's the second appearance of Bane. Yes, that's right, the backbreaker. And it's kind of like an Ayo issue. Look what he's choking this man out. But it's the second appearance of Bane, and also Azrael assumes the mantle of Batman. So that right there is not Bruce Wayne, that is Azrael, who's a very popular Batman character. If you played the Arkham games, he was in that. In the last one, I think it was. Um, so yeah, an interesting issue there. A couple things going on, and the second appearance of Bane. So an interesting issue there. The next one is Detective Comics 585. This is the first appearance of Ratcatcher Otis Flanagan, and also I consider that to be bondage. I don't know. Y'all can tell me he's getting he's getting hemmed up by these rats. But yeah, the first appearance of Ratcatcher, which if you watched the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie, which was the remake of the first Suicide Squad, um, his daughter Ratcatcher 2 um, was in that movie, and there was a brief scene with him. I think he was played by Taika Waititi, right? I think if I remember correctly, Taika Waititi, who makes the Thor movies in Marvel, he played the guy who first appears in this issue, and this is also a newsstand. So a really interesting Detective Comics key there. It's not the biggest key. He has appeared in DC in the movies for very briefly, but I think they're going to be going with Ratcatcher 2 moving forward, not the first Ratcatcher, which she was a really interesting character. I really like the actress that played her, and the character was interesting as well. The next one is Batman 361. This is also another interesting one. This is the second appearance of Lieutenant Harvey Bullock and the first appearance of Jason Todd on a cover. It's not the first appearance of Jason Todd. That one I am also looking for a good price out in the wild. This one's a newsstand as well, but it's the first appearance of Jason Todd on the cover. You can see him there falling to his death. That's not the time he actually dies. Of course, he died when Joker beat the brakes off him. But so it's a spoiler. We know he's not going to die there. But yeah, and also the second appearance of Harvey Bullock, who is a lieutenant. He's a detective. He works with Gordon in for Gotham PD. So this is kind of a spec book because it's a Jason Todd key and also a Harvey Bullock key as well. I feel like Harvey Bullock is probably going to show up soon, probably in the next Robert Pattinson Batman movie. If I had to guess, he'll probably be in that. Um, I don't think he was in the first one, unless I am mistaken. But I feel like he's going to be in the second one. Um, and Jason Todd, he'll show up eventually. He was teased a little bit, but the DC EU is no more, or at least we think. We don't know what's going on, but I don't know if James Gunn knows what's going on either. But yeah, that he was teased in that first Suicide Squad, the one that got remade after. Um, we haven't seen him yet. I feel like he'll come into play in James Gunn's one. So that's a little spec there. The next one we have is Batman 409. This is the origin of Jason Todd. So it's basically the issue that tells the origin of Jason Todd. So another little minor Jason Todd key there for some spec for the future. The next one is Batman 417. This is the first appearance of the KG Beast, who is a cybernetically enhanced assassin and a former Soviet agent. So it's kind of like a robot Black Widow, basically. And so it's a minor Batman key, but I feel like the KG Beast is kind of like maybe a villain that James Gunn would put in one of his movies. He seems like that kind of. Ooh, I almost dropped it. He seems like that kind of wacky kind of character that James Gunn would put in his movies as a like a one-off villain that maybe gets his head blown off or something crazy happens to him. This next one, or this is the last one. This is Batman 475. It's a funny cover. It's got like the doll. Look at this. It's got like the doll on there. Um, the ventriloquist guy with a doll with a gun. And then it is the key is that it is the first appearance of Renee Montoya, who later becomes the second question. Now, Renee Montoya, she was a character that's like Harley Quinn. If you don't know, Harley Quinn did not exist in comics before the Batman animated series. Harley Quinn was first created in the Batman animated series, and then they later put her in the comics. Renee Montoya is like Harley Quinn. She was first in the Batman animated series on TV, and then later they put her in the comics. And so this is the first comic she appears. She is like Harvey Bullock. She is a detective that works for Gotham PD. She's kind of like a side character cop. Um, Jim Gordon gets all the shine, but she is also with Gotham PD. She's a little minor character, and she later becomes the second version of the Question. So an interesting little minor key. Probably not too much spec with that one, but you never know. Diverse characters are good spec to pick up because they like to put them in movies. So you never know, they might put Renee Montoya in the movie, give her a bigger role, kind of like how they did with Ratcatcher 2. She wasn't that big of a character, and they kind of made her a more central character in the second Suicide Squad remake. So you never know, maybe there's some spec there, but either way, just a few minor Batman keys and a little bit of Batman spec. And lastly, here we're gonna move from DC back to Marvel. We got some Marvel books here. Some keys, some not. The first couple are not keys, but they're really cool Wolverine books. This one's Wolverine 58. That's obviously Jubilee on the cover with Wolverine there. He's looking, like a psycho Wolverine. So a really interesting little cover there. I really like Jubilee. Jubilee, Dazzler, Boom Boom. I'm kind of a simp for them. So I pick up those Jubilee and Dazzler covers when I see them. Um, and that's a cool cover with Wolverine as well, looking like a you know, little psycho. And speaking of cool Wolverine cover, this is another one, Wolverine 59. This is kind of like a Terminator homage. It's not a key, but he does look like the Terminator there, and he's got the claws. Just looking dope. I really like this cover. So yeah, that's a little Wolverine issue there. Then we have another cool cover. This is one I've seen around, but never seen in the wild. I've seen it online. But it is Spider-Man. This is from the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man run, but I don't think he wrote this issue. I think he had left the series. Yeah, I think because the next one, yeah. So this one is Spider-Man 21. This is a cover. This is it is a key. It's got Spider-Man and Deathlock. Ooh, Deathlock is an interesting character. Um, I don't know if he'll ever show up in the MCU. Maybe if we get a little crazy. If James Gunn did another MCU movie, he's leaving to go with DC, obviously. But if James Gunn ever came back and did an MCU movie, I feel like Deathlock is a character he'd bring into the MCU. It's a really interesting, weird character. But it's a really cool cover with Spider-Man and Deathlock there, and it is Spider-Man. The key is Spider-Man's outfitted with a temporary cybernetic prosthesis to aid him after getting shot by Solo. So you can see there he's got the prosthetic arm there, kind of like how Deathlock is, kind of like a machine guy. So yeah, really interesting cover there. And Deathlock is an interesting character that I wonder if we'll ever see in the MCU. I don't know if he's just a little too weird. But speaking of Todd McFarlane, this is Spider-Man 16. This is what I was referring to. The 21 was not, the last one wasn't written by Todd McFarlane because Spider-Man 16, this one right here, which oh, you flip it this way. It's one of those ones that you flip to see the cover. This one is the last issue written and illustrated by Todd McFarlane for Marvel. So you know Todd McFarlane, he did the this Spider-Man series. He did up to 16, and then he left Marvel, and of course, you know, his most popular series is Spawn. That's what he's most well known for. So this was the last thing he ever did for Marvel, was Spider-Man 16. So an interesting little book there for cheap. And this is another one. This is a cool one that I think is funny. It's a little minor key. It is the Spectacular Spider-Man annual number 5. It's the first appearance and origin of Ace Spencer, who's a reformed drug dealer. So that's him there. And I got it because he looks like Michael Jackson. Like, look at him. Tell me that's not supposed to be Michael Jackson. Like, come on. Um, so it's a funny little cover there. Probably gonna go in my meme collection, just because I think he looks like Michael Jackson. The next one, it's another Spider Man related book. It is Spider Woman. It's from the newer series. Um, this is number 10, and I got it because it is a Jen Bartel variant. Now, if you're into you know, variant covers, um, you know, um, the big I guess what would you call them? Like hot girl covers artists are like David Nakayama, Derek Chu, Middleton is underrated. I feel like a really underrated um artist, cover artist, is Jen Bartel. I really love the way that she draws women. She, you know, it's very debutante the way she draws women, and she did the most recent, which actually just finished, I believe. She did the most recent She-Hulk series. I have a lot of those She-Hulk covers because they're very I don't know. I just really like Jem Bartel's art. So that's a Jem Bartel cover that's gonna go into the variant collection. I got a whole box back there full of those kind of, you know, I guess, what do you call them, hot girl covers. The next one is Warlock and the Infinity Watch number 2. This one is a key, and I really like this cover as well. Look at Warlock. You know, Warlock, he was in the most recent, the last Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie, and he's going to be part of the new Guardians of the Galaxy moving forward. Um, and this is the first appearance, or the first team appearance of the Infinity Watch, who is Adam Warlock, Drax the Destroyer, Moondragon, Gamora, Pip the Troll, and Thanos. Now, obviously, I feel like they're gonna do Warlock and the Infinity Watch in the future, but it's obviously, you know, Thanos is not going to be on the team. And we also don't have Moondragon yet. And Pip the Troll was introduced at the very end of the Eternals movie. If you saw that, the Eternal movie is kind of underrated to me. The only thing I don't like about it, or one of the things I don't like about it, is that Tiamat rose up from the ocean, and the amount of how big he was, the amount of water he dispersed should have caused the biggest hurricanes and tsunamis that the world has ever seen, because he was breaking through the earth, and he was literally the size of the earth, and he was supposed to destroy the earth. So also, the amount of water that was dispersed should have caused tsunamis that destroyed islands and cities. And they never talk about it in the MCU. There was a little article about Tiamat in the ocean in the background of She-Hulk's laptop in the She-Hulk series. That's the only time they've referenced Tiamat. And they've never talked about how islands in that water should have been destroyed, and probably on the land, any landmass near that um, would have been wiped out. So that's one thing I don't like about Eternals. The aftermath of that, but we weren't talking about that. We're talking about this. Pip the Troll, he was at in the end with Harry Styles' character, who is Eros. Um, Pip the Troll is actually a really big character in the comics. He's usually paired with Gamora, which I really like this design of Gamora as well. Her old school design. I like Gamora now, but obviously they're not going to do that in the movies. But I do like that design of her. Maybe if it didn't have as much cleavage, they could still do the suit, because the suit is cool. Even without the cleavage, it would be cool. And I like her hair as well. Like, look at her hair. But yeah, so yeah, we don't have Pip the Troll. Just is we don't know what they're gonna do with Pip the Troll. And Thanos is not gonna be on the team. Obviously, we don't have Moondragon yet. But I feel like eventually they're gonna do Warlock and the Infinity Watch. They're gonna have the Infinity Watch. So yeah, it'll probably be a different team.
I have an idea.
Maybe they'll call the Guardians of the Galaxy, the new team, the Infinity Watch. I just thought about that now. What if the new Guardians of the Galaxy, they switched the name to the Infinity Watch, since Peter's not there anymore, Gamora's not there anymore. Um you have Drax the Destroyer, you have Adam Warlock. Um there is not yeah, there's Mantis left, which I think they're going to do the whole Celestia Madonna story, which I actually have the trade paperback back here. The Celestial Madonna, if you don't know, it's a really wacky story about basically um Mantis is kind of like the savior of the universe, and that there's like a child birth through her. It's kind of like basically she's like Mary, and it's like Jesus. It's interesting, very interesting. But anyway, yeah. So I feel like I just kind of thought about that, like a Jimmy Neutron brain blast. What if they changed the name of the Guardians of the Galaxy, especially since James Gunn's leaving now, and it was so attached to him, to make it feel different? What if they call them the Infinity Watch? If they do that, you heard it here first. But anyway, the last book we have is not a key. It is What If number 33. So an interesting book to end on. But I got it because, as I said before, I'm a simp for Jubilee, Dazzler, Boom Boom, and it's a really cool cover with Dazzler on there, so that's why I got it. And it's a Dazzler and Iron Man story. What if number 33? That is, what if Dazzler was the Herald of Galactus? So basically, Dazzler's the Silver Surfer. And then what if Iron Man was trapped in the time of King Arthur? So two interesting stories. It's a newsstand, looks nice, and it's a nice little Dazzler cover to end us on. And that is going to do it. That was a long haul, long video. But again, thank y'all for 100 subscribers. 100 subscribers and almost 100 books. I didn't actually count them, but it felt like 100 books. But thanks for 100 subscribers. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video for more comic book and pop culture talk. And I will see y'all another day.